The woman accidentally saw her dog sneak into her bedroom. She thought the dog was hungry, so she poured the leftover milk for the dog. But after drinking the milk, the dog suddenly stopped moving. She nervously shook the dog, only to realize it had fallen asleep. She then realized something was wrong with the milk. It turned out she had the same nightmare every night. In the dream, her mother got into a car accident while sending her to the hospital. When her husband tried to save her, her mother kept shouting that everything was fake. Every time she woke from the nightmare, her husband would call her mother on purpose, let her hear her mother's voice, then kindly bring her a cup of milk. But just now she noticed the scar on her husband's hand. It was exactly where she had cut him in the dream. She could not understand why he did this, so she got up to confront him, but just as she reached the door, she heard her husband on the phone. He told the other person that she had already drunk the milk. The medicine should be taking effect, and asked them to wait a little longer. Once the baby was born, everything would be over. She never expected her husband had really drugged her. Before she could think it through, dizziness hit her head. She hurried back to bed and lay down. Her husband noticed nothing unusual. Only after he left the bedroom did she fall into a deep sleep. The next day, she carried the dog to the dining room as usual. Her husband had already prepared breakfast downstairs, but when the dog saw him, it started barking wildly. She knew the dog was never that unruly. Maybe it had sensed something wrong about her husband. Thinking about what he said last night about waiting for the baby to be born, she had no idea what he was plotting. But there were only 3 days left until her due date. She decided to uncover the truth before then. Just then, a phone call came in. Her husband had to go to the company and asked her to go to the hospital for a checkup alone. After he left, the dog was playing with a tie. When she picked it up and looked closely, it was not a tie she had bought, and it carried a woman's perfume scent. She immediately realized her husband had spent the night with another woman. As she wondered who that woman was, the butler came to inform her that the driver had arrived, thinking they might act on the day of delivery. She decided to look for clues at the hospital. Her attending doctor was her best friend. Everything went smoothly, but then the dog started barking again. Her friend nervously squatted down to check the dog. Suddenly, a familiar scent rushed into her nose. She instantly remembered the perfume on the tie. In that moment, her heart completely shattered. She never expected the betrayer to be her childhood best friend. She dared not reveal her emotions, lied that she wanted to use the restroom, and hurried away with the dog. In the restroom, she was overwhelmed with grief. She could not understand why even her best friend betrayed her. Just then, the dog started pulling her toward the door again. She worried and picked up the dog to leave. Suddenly, she heard her friend's voice. After hearing their conversation, she finally understood what her husband meant that night. They never planned to let her leave the operating table alive. After returning home, she kept replaying everything in her mind. What did her friend mean by reuniting their whole family? She suspected her mother had already been harmed, but she had spoken to her mother on the phone yesterday. She decided to go back home to check, but her husband clearly would not let her leave. She waited in the room until late at night for him to return. She pretended to be caring and said she made him a calming soup. In the middle of the night, she climbed out of bed. After confirming he was asleep, she left without looking back. Fortunately, her mother appeared safe and sound. She urged her mother to pack up and leave with her immediately. Her confused mother asked what had happened, but she had no evidence of her husband's plan. So she lied that she discovered her husband was cheating and wanted her mother to go out with her to clear her mind. Hearing this, her mother felt relieved and went to pack. She decided to pay respects to her father at that moment, but when she reached out, her hand touched thick dust on the altar. Even the photo frame was covered in dust. She immediately sensed something was wrong. Her mother always treated her father's memorial tablet like a treasure. Then she recalled what her friend said on the phone about reuniting their whole family, and in the nightmare, her mother kept urging her to run. She instantly realized the key to the problem.